again, the whole thing, it's hard to explain when you go from Mraz's high school gym teacher to his mom to the Bayou Bear drinking more than 36 White Claws yesterday to the insanity revolving everything to the bagpipes of Foxy to Mraz hunting down Eddie, the ice cream man, later in the day, to just everything. Everything was so insane. But this was the most insane moment yesterday as I dumped a pot of New England clam chowder that had been warmed on the stove over Mraz's head.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, he's hard to put my ear, you mother... I'm piping! Holy crap, it's hot at the bottom! You stop! I'm not kidding, somebody get cold water!
It's at this point in time where Mraz runs away, hides behind the above-ground pool. One of his friends comes over to douse him with a White Claw. That should cool you off. That heavily sugary, spiked soda water. That should be perfect. That black cherry White Claw, that should cool off your burned scalp. And one of the greatest parts about the entire day is that Mraz is going, it's too hot! My ear! My ear's burning my scalp!
I'm not kidding, somebody get cold water!
Cold water! He heated it up. He heated up the clam chowder. I just dumped it. He heated it. My ear! Cold water! I need cold water!
Cold water!
Mraz, how is your ear doing today?
The back of my neck stings a little bit, and my problem was I heated it up but took it off for 20 minutes to let it cool, but it was so much damn soup in such a deep kettle pot that you guys only felt the top of it and didn't realize, I guess, that it was still, like, boiling hot underneath the first 2 layers of clam chowder from Progresso. It was piping hot.
It was also 88 degrees yesterday, so when you took a pot of chowder off of the burner and put it outside of the table, it didn't necessarily cool down. It might have actually heated up.
And that was my one fear going into this, was that the soup was going to be too hot. You guys assured me it wasn't. Yeah, no problem. And the moment it didn't hit the hair and hit the back of my neck, it like sizzled like my back of my neck was a fajita pan at Chili's.
Oh, he's hot to put my ear, you mother...
Cold water!
I'll give you credit, though. You stood there and took it. You stayed. If it was as hot as it sounded like it was, I would have bailed immediately, but you took another few seconds of that before D.A. mercifully stopped, and then you scurried away. So there was some manliness in you yesterday.
Well, that's not manliness. I'll tell you why. How long does it take to dump a pot of soup? I thought it was over when it sizzled me. Like I froze there for a minute because I assumed that was it. And the soup just felt like it kept coming and coming and coming.
Water!
And I thought your buddy was a dentist. I thought he was rubbing the can of White Claw on your neck to cool you off because it's the coolest thing we have. But he was actually pouring over you.
That's actually my soon-to-be brother-in-law, and he was just in a bad mood because he basically thinks he owns Bob's Bar, and he was the only one that had to work out of that crew yesterday. He missed the show.
He poured White Claw seltzer on the burn, which is like the most syrupy, sweet thing.
Oh. What? You said you wanted to get cool.
White Claw and Progresso have asked that we not name them anymore in this store. They want no part of it.
Mraz sounded exactly like when Katie Linendoll dressed up as the Penguin. My ear! My water!
Cold water!
Batman!
I'm piping!
I'll get you, Batman!
It was also the second time that Sean bellowed for water to be given to him in an emergency yesterday. There was so much going on.
Somebody get cold water!
Apparently cold water fixes everything in Sean's mind.
Cold water!
Look, throughout the day, we are going to reminisce about one of the most insane days in DA show history. Every part of it was, again, totally cartoonish, and I was so happy to see Bilotti and Bogish show up because I'm like, guys, I've been living this solo here for like 8 hours.
Yeah.
I needed you guys to be there alongside me for some like outside perspective of this is really happening.
Yeah, you were so happy they showed up, you ducked out to take a nap the moment they did.
I had to take a nap. I had to take a
You had to
nap.
bail.
I had to take
Where'd
a nap.
DA go? Nobody knows. Irish goodbye? Who knows?
I had to lay down. I had been overwhelmed by Bob's bar. I needed a reset. Like I got to just take it. I got to take 5 here. I need a timeout. This is too much.
Kaplan texted at 4 o'clock. We can't find him, Cap. Hopefully we get this off soon.
I was late to the set for Dodgeball Night in Babylon. Get my earpiece in. Okay, all right. Here we go. Dodgeball Night in Babylon in 3, 2, and 1. It's piping!
It's hot at the bottom! You stop!
Ah!
Cold water!
Cold water!
We got cold water! Water!
Upside Down Mike tweets, "Hey Mraz, I'd like to know what unpipe it means. Is that actually what you're saying there? We think that it's piping, but are you saying unpipe it?
There is 0% chance I said unpipe it. I have never once in my life uttered the words unpipe it. I use piping hot, yes, a lot when it comes to food, but I've never said unpipe it.
Unpipe it!
Ah, it's piping.
I don't know. I think Upside Down Mike is right. That sounds like unpipe it.
Unpipe it!
It can sound however it wants to sound. My vocal cords were fraying and frying because of the hot clam chowder.
Unpipe it!
Are you saying unpipe it?
No, it's piping.
Unpipe it!
I don't know. It sounds like unpipe it.
I know,
Unpipe
because
it!
I would never say unpipe it. I've never said that in my life.
Unpipe it!
It's piping. It's piping.
Unpipe
Easy,
it!
Fozzie.
I'm trying to keep this thing on the tracks because yesterday's show went really off the tracks. It went really far off the tracks, and I
See,
want to rebound
disagree.
today. No?
It was on a different set of tracks yesterday. That's what it was. It was on the
Okay.
tracks for yesterday. It did
Okay.
not go off the rails. That was the way that it should have sounded. So it was just on an alternate route yesterday.
Oh, man. That's a great way to put it. Now you made me feel so much better, Bogues. Most of us feel like we were either hit by a bread truck, had hot New England clam chowder dumped on our heads, or sat on by the Bayou Bear. Some type of day.
This is facts.
Just some type of day. Coming up this hour here on the show in 20 minutes, NBA fans are acting like morons. And in 40 minutes, it's Canadian Bacon, the night that was the Stanley Cup playoffs, Mraz and his puns. And last hour, we went over some of the ridiculousness of the day at Bob's Bar. We will continue doing that this morning, but Pete, why don't you lead me off this hour and this morning by giving me the countdown and the reaction, the sounds of the bet being paid off. Mraz having 6 cans of New England clam chowder dumped on his head.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, it's hot and burnt my ear, you mother... Unpipe it! Holy crap, it's hot at the bottom! You stop! I'm not kidding, somebody get cold water!
It's at this point in time where Mraz runs. He is standing in Taylor's baby pool with the wig on, the powdered wig, and a garbage bag over top of him. He starts running out of the baby pool to behind the real pool, and he's holding his neck, as he's yelping like the penguin, Danny DeVito style.
Holy crap, it's hot at the bottom! You...
And at this point, one of his friends runs over there, actually his sister's fiance, and pours a White Claw, an alcoholic seltzer on it, as though that was going to help the burning sensation. Sugar water. Ah! My neck! My neck! Ah!
Stop!
Why did you put the garbage bag over you? Were you protecting that costume for future use?
DA, it is very rare that I spend a whole day where people complimenting how I look and the shape I look like I am in. And it felt really good to get those compliments throughout the day. So when it came time to finally have the costume potentially ruined, I really started to think I can't have this costume ruined because I don't know what the situation is I'm going to put this on again, but it's the one time in my life where everybody thought I looked really good. So I needed to protect and save that.
What other scenario could you possibly dress up as a revolutionary patriot for?
I know that sounds ridiculous, but I just think fashion is so crazy that you don't know when the time is going to be where maybe that is cool. Maybe it becomes cool in the next couple of years, and I'm ahead of the game, and I have one that I already know looks good on me.
You did look good in it.
I know I did. I mean, I think I missed the boat. I'd give up HD TV to go live in the 1780s now.
Really? You'd give up all of our modern conveniences, including all of your favorite sports teams and just sports in general. You'd have to root for, like, fox hunting. And you'd go back to the 1780s just because you look good in the Paul Revere outfit.
Yes. Yes, I would. Yes, I absolutely would.
Ah! Ah! Don't go water! Ah, my ear!
I need to know.
Burn my ear, you mother...
Ah! You burned my ear!
Did you actually feel the clam chowder, or you just yesed me to death?
I did. I picked up the pot, and I dipped my finger in it, my index finger, my right index finger, into the pot, and I actually dipped it in and licked it, and it was room temperature at best, maybe a little warmer than room temperature at the top. I didn't get all the way to the bottom because it was 6 cans of clam chowder in large cans, so I couldn't put just a finger in. It would have had my whole hand going. My whole hand in the pot of chowder, so I never got to the bottom. And admittedly, when I picked up the pot, it was a very heavy pot worth of chowder. I did feel the bottom, and the bottom of the pot, like the metal, was much hotter than the top of the pot. So I do think the bottom of the pot was hotter, therefore the chowder at the bottom of the pot was hotter. And I think probably the top chowder was fine, but once I kept dumping it, and I was dumping it slow so that it just kept dripping all over you. Once you got the hot bottom chowder, that's the one that scalded your ear.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Thank you. Can't wait to put on a pig nose soon and just keep this rally going.
Headley tweets, listening to it again, Mraz does a perfect Joe Pesci impersonation. It's piping!
I'm piping!
Ah! The water!
Stop! Cold water!
Oh, God, that's never going to get old. So we now have a new drop forever, a countdown. We should, on New Year's Eve, just play that countdown and then into Mraz yelping.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Cold water!
Happy New Year! Ah! Cold water!
Cold water!
Ah!
Stop!
My ear!
I'm piping!
Are you saying that's piping or I'm piping?
No, that's piping, I think.
I'm piping!
That's piping.
I'm piping!
That's piping. Should honestly be a new DA show t-shirt. That's piping.
I'm piping!
That's piping.
I'm piping!
I don't know why my voice became that. It's really embarrassing to listen back. I'm pathetic.
That's piping.
I'm piping!
It's almost like we didn't throw the dodgeballs either. Who cares about the dodgeballs?
Oh, I know. We have to talk about the dodgeballs.
Unbelievable. I did get hit in a bad area.
I know.
Ow!